The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
You know, I'm excited to host tonight this call to explain a little bit more about what it means to be a mom boss. Essentially, these are moms that are making a huge difference in their own families and in their communities simply by planning their lives around what's really most important to them. And you're going to be hearing some amazing stories of transformation. And whether you are a mom or not, you are welcome, because maybe you're a dad. Dads are important too. Maybe you're a woman that doesn't have any children right now. That's okay, because one thing that moms share in common is that we are incredibly busy. And I'm going to go ahead and try to share my screen here. Let's see here. I would love to hear from the moms out there. What are some of the hats that you wear? Because a lot of times we're not just mom, right? We're also chauffeur, and we're also cook, and we're events coordinator, and all the while we're taking care of everybody. And sometimes we don't take care of ourselves the way that we would hope to. And the question I have with all of the things that keep moms busy is how much of the time that we spend being busy is actually doing things that are most important to us. And as I mentioned, whether you're a mom or not, you might be very, very busy, and that question still applies. And today, I want to invite you to ask the question, what if? What if you were able to plan your life around what matters most to you? What would that look like? And what if you were able to take care of everybody that you need to take care of, but also doing it while you're taking care of yourself? What if you could find a career that offers you tremendous professional and personal fulfillment and financial fulfillment, all while being available for your family, for the things that really matter most to us? Is that something that you'd be open to exploring? Because that's what we're going to be talking about today. And as we're talking about the different hats that we wear, I want to tell you a little bit about the hats I wear and some of the ones that are most important to me. I am a daughter, and I'm a sister, and I'm a wife, and I'm a cook, and I'm a nurse, and I'm an educator, and I'm a mom. And by a landslide, my favorite hat of all is the hat I wear called mom. If you had asked me when I was 7 years old what I wanted to be when I grow up, I would have told you I want to be a mom. That's all I wanted to be. I never really stopped to think about that there might be bills that I'll need to pay and how those bills might be paid. All I wanted to be when I was little was to be a mom. And when I got married, we actually planned our family around the idea of if I could be home or not. And the irony behind all of that planning and 10 years into our marriage was that when I was 7 months pregnant with twins, I was finally going to be that mom, my husband got laid off. And that was a huge reminder of the fact that my financial contribution to my family was essential, was required. And, 4 months later, 5 months later, the girls were, 4 or 5 months old. My husband did get a job, and I was able to go back to work on a part-time basis. And I remember dreading that day going back to work. I was thinking, oh man, it's going to be miserable. I'm going to be in tears. I can't believe I'm going to have to leave the girls. And the biggest surprise for me was as I was driving to work, I found myself very secretly excited. I learned about myself that I was not, as much as I wanted to be a mom and as excited as I was about that, I actually loved my professional hat. And that was part of me. And I didn't want to let that go as I embraced this new hat that I had. I was a pediatric nurse practitioner, and I worked after hours, which meant that I got, my husband got to watch the girls. They got to stay home with daddy. And I got to take care of kids on more urgent situations, which involved things like sore throats and fevers and rashes, and every so often there was an injury. But the vast majority of the issues were that were contagious, right? Things like fevers and rashes. And so I remember coming home from work and literally stripping in my garage because I didn't want to share the germs that I picked up at work. And I would just put the clothes into the washer before I came home. And I didn't realize that I had options back then. I didn't realize that I could keep my professional hat and not have to strip in the garage. I didn't realize that I could keep my professional hat and be the mom that I wanted to be. And I didn't realize what a gift it was that my girls brought me. Because this is the deal. Before I became a mom, when I worked full-time as a nurse practitioner, I ran a weight management program for kids. And when I delivered my twins, I went on to gain 50 pounds in about 9 months. And that was so incredibly embarrassing because I knew better and I wasn't doing better. And I found myself needing a health coach. And I started working with an OPTAVIA coach, and I discovered options. As I mentioned, I discovered the option of being able to take care of me as I took care of the girls. I was able to lose 55 pounds. And I discovered the option of being able to make the kind of difference I wanted to make in the world that sometimes I didn't feel like I got to make as a nurse practitioner. I discovered the option of being able to let go of my job as a nurse practitioner and keep my professional hat, but also be the mom I wanted to be. I discovered the option that 3 years later, when my husband's position got downsized again, I could say, hey, you want to stay home now? So for the past while, I've been able to give my kids the option of having both parents home full time. And today I'm excited to introduce you to 3 moms that have been able to do the same thing, utilizing the system that we call OPTAVIA. Who are we? What is OPTAVIA? We are a community of over 16,000 health coaches from all walks of life, health professionals and non-health professionals, and yet we have one common thread. We want to help people be the healthiest version of themselves that they can be. And what I love about this is that we are a physician-led community. We have clinical backing to what it is that we do. Not only that, but we have a very solid business foundation. We've been cited by Forbes magazine as one of the top trusted companies 2 years in a row. And we have a solid business that creates a solid, simple system for people to make the changes that they need to make in their lives. Our goal, our mission, is to help people create lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And we want to help empower people to experience optimal health, which we believe is a sweet spot between a healthy body, a healthy mind, and healthy finances. And so, is that a problem we're trying to create? No. The truth is that we have a solution for a very, very real problem in all of these areas that exist in the world today. When it comes to the health, in terms of healthy body, right? We've got a little bit of a crisis going on, at least in the United States and in the world. If you look at this map, you'll notice that from 1985 to 2010, our country has consistently gained more weight. When it comes to mental health, the American Psychological Association has mentioned that parents, women, and younger generations, they tend to have the highest stress levels. And if you look into the generational breakdown, you'll find that Generation Xers and Gen Xers and Millennials, their biggest sources of stress are related to work, income, and finances. And when it comes to the baby boomers, their biggest source of stress is the physical health, which is interesting that what we hope to do is help people in the healthy body, the healthy mind, and the healthy finances. So when it comes to the financial piece, what most of your friends won't tell you is where they are, that they don't have a rainy day fund, and that causes them some stress. Not only that, but only half of your friends are truly satisfied and content with what it is that they do for a living. And so what we bring to the table with OPTAVIA is an opportunity to not only help people in their body, but also in their mind and in their finances. And we do it in a very, very simple way. And I'm excited to introduce you today to three mamas that are doing just that. And so first off, I would love to introduce you to Miriam Stebetsky. And Miriam, I would love for you to come on and share with us a little bit of the different hats that you wore.
Oh my goodness, Donni, thank you so much. It's funny, I came here prepared with what I'm going to say, but as I listen to you, my mind is spinning and how much I truly can relate to what you were talking about. All the hats that I wear, I'll actually start with the hats that I wore when I started this program almost 5 years ago. I was, of course, a mom to 3 beautiful children. I was a teacher. I was a youth director. I was a religious school administrator. I was a camp director. I was a wife, a daughter, a sister, a friend, a neighbor, right? I mean, then all the things that everyone threw into the chat, a chauffeur, a laundromat, a chef, all those things. And I was exhausted. I was really exhausted. You talked about fulfillment in a job. Well, I just told you a whole lot of the jobs that I held were super fulfilling. I was a special educator, so I wasn't lacking for meaning and purpose in my life. But boy, did it drain my energy. I would say I spent all day and I would come home to my children, but I'd used all of my energy up on other people's children. And while it was very fulfilling, it was super draining and I could only exist so long on that. Well, luckily for me, I had about 100 pounds to lose. And so there may have been some exhaustion related to that as well. And in a moment of, okay, I picked up my phone and I called one of the most important people in my life now. I had no idea back then. And I said, okay, tell me about this plan. Can you relate to that? Fine, just tell me what I need to do. What appealed to me almost immediately was the ease of the program. Because as I said, I was busy. I was working 7 days a week, 365 days a year, balancing my work, my family. I would like to say throwing myself in there, but who are we kidding? I wasn't. And the convenience of this program from, straight out of the gate was such a blessing. In the morning, to be able to just go joop, 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 and have my day prepared so easily and get results from this goof-proof lifestyle I had just instituted was incredible. That being said, almost immediately, one of the other things I fell in love with our program was my coach. That lady that I called when I was ready to get started, like I said, became one of the most important people in my life. Because while the program is so darn simple, I had tons of questions. That's just me. I thrive on support. I thrive on partnership. And I frankly hit the jackpot because my coach is so darn supportive. I'm feeling a touch overwhelmed with gratitude right now, even today, bunches of years later, we are still in touch. In my life at that time, I was the director of that department. I was the director of the camp. I was the administrator. I was in charge of my family. And it was so nice in one area of my life to have somebody who was looking out for me. That was just really cool. So a tremendous thank you to my coach. As I started to shed my pounds, people started asking me, what are you doing? And of course I referred them to my awesome coach, and she suggested to me that I pay it forward and that I partner with her to help them. In the interest of true transparency, I thought she was crazy. I just told you how many jobs I had. I did not have a moment to spare. Well, I'll thank her again for seeing what I couldn't see at that time and for being persistent on my behalf. Because I made time when I had absolutely no time, I found myself with more time than I ever could have hoped for. as I started helping more and more people, and I started being rewarded for my efforts, started to replace some of the income, some of all those little jobs I was carrying. And I started to peel back on several of those jobs. For my entire marriage, I was working 7 days a week. I was used to missing the Little League games. I was used to sometimes missing those annual checkups with my kids. And for the first time ever, I wasn't working on Sunday, wasn't working on Saturday. And heck, holy cow, I even pulled back on Thursdays. It was like, I don't know, I really felt like a princess. I started to pull back on my jobs. And I remember saying to my husband, I've worked so hard to create this healthy body. I want time to take advantage of it. I want time to just enjoy it. And OPTAVIA has helped me create that freedom. What's been most incredible this year, while I am not grateful for this situation necessarily, but I have had a child this year who found himself knocked in the head and has been battling a concussion for several months. He has not been able to attend school full time. We are at doctors more than I care to admit. And while it's not how I'd love to spend my time, I am so grateful that I have the flexibility to do so. In my former career as a teacher, holy mackerel, the guilt that I would have when I had to miss work to tend to my children. But I had to balance that against the guilt I would have when I was at work, when I should be with my children. And now I get to be in charge of that decision. And Donni asked me earlier today, what do I think of when I think mom boss? I am the boss. I am the CEO of my business. I am the CEO of my family, and I get to decide my priorities and how to balance that. And I'm so grateful that I have that flexibility. I'll just share one more thing before I hand it over to the next awesome mom boss, which is, I mentioned the flexibility is awesome. The income is really awesome. It's a tremendous blessing. But what's funny is, with all of those tremendous payoffs of coaching, I'd have to say that what I might be most grateful for is that I told you I joined this program to lose 100 pounds, and that seems remarkable. But what I might be most grateful for is that I'm able to keep it off and remain healthy. And that certainly comes from my constant investment in the community, staying connected to all of you, staying connected to the other like-minded folks on this program, really practicing the habits of health that our program has to offer, and paying it forward has been tremendous. As a teacher, I feel passionately about giving to others, and I learn best when I'm giving to others. And that has certainly been, I would say, my number one anchor. I am connected to a community and to others who, like Donni said before, are really just trying to be the best, the healthiest versions of themselves. And it's really an honor to be part of this community.
Well, thank you, Miriam. You shared how you've lost weight, how you changed your life, how you're available for your family now, especially with things going on with your son, and how simple this was. And so, just as a brief review, we utilized 4 separate tools to make the process of a lifelong transformation simpler. The first tool is the one-on-one coaching that you get from your OPTAVIA coach. The second is the habits of health system, which is the educational component that addresses all of the different habits of health. Then we've got a community that simply normalizes healthy behaviors, because the truth is that making changes can be challenging, but when you know that you're not alone, it makes it just a little bit easier. And then we have very, very simple meal plans that fit into whatever crazy busy schedule you might be facing, whether you're a mom or not. As I mentioned, we all have our own version of crazy going on. And so we have these 4 tools that allows us to just simply plug in to as coaches and as clients. And I would love to bring Maria Fernandez on now to share a little bit about how coaching has transformed her life. Welcome, Maria.
Hey, Donni, how are you?
Good, thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, my name is Maria. I actually started with this program. I started coaching 4 years ago. I was a stay-at-home offshore wife. I had lost 100 pounds on plan, and I kind of felt like I could conquer anything after that, right? So my initial reason for coaching was because I was a stay-at-home offshore wife. I wanted adults to talk to. I wanted something of my own. I was always a creator by nature, and this was really a platform for accountability, and it was also a platform to create things that I loved, right? And just to make beautiful things. And that started in my own life, and then it started showing up in other people's lives, and I was hooked. It wasn't long before I had accomplished some of the first dreams that I had set out with coaching, and I realized looking down that I was actually bringing in the income that I would be making outside of the home. And that gave me so much peace and so much security, because my husband and I had this running joke that wasn't really a joke. It was that I was going to have to get a job when the kids went to school. And I was like, no, I want to go to coffee with my friends and tell my husband it's work, right? So that's what I did. I made sure that it still appeared to like it was work to him, okay? And so I was like 100 pounds down. I was hanging out with my friends, and I was feeling hot and healthy and happy. But I looked at my husband, and his reality wasn't as great as mine. He had worked really, really hard to give me that life. And I was incredibly grateful for the gift, but I wanted to give it back. So in 2016, I kind of had that in my mind, but it didn't get real until 2016. He is in the oil industry. He was gone about 27 days out of the month. So essentially, I was a single mom while running my coaching practice in the beginning. In 2016, the oil industry dipped really bad. He was home waiting for the phone to call, or waiting for the phone to ring. He actually lost about half of his income from the previous year that year, and coaching made up the difference. But most importantly, what happened that year is, even though my husband was feeling a little down, I cannot explain the peace and the comfort and the surety that came with having the head of our household actually in the household, right? And I fell in love with that. I finally felt supported spiritually, emotionally, and it was something that I didn't want to let go of again. Oh, I'm trying not to cry. Okay. Then, so at that moment, I decided, like, wait a second. Okay, I hold a key. Like, I have seen other women bring their husbands home. What the heck am I doing? Like, come on now. You got this, girl, you know? And so I just started helping a lot of people. I loved what I was doing. I just did more of it. And we were on a mission to bring him home. 2017, the industry picked back up, because that's just what it does. It goes up and down, right? And I all of a sudden found myself helping a lot of people as a single mom again. And I was kind of a little panicked, because let's be real, life was messy, right? And so I thought back, and I was raised in a family business, and I love that fact. I love some of the things that I learned along the way, but I didn't want to just have a brick and mortar family business like the old days. We now had a family mission, and it was going to involve all of us. So we had a great little come to Jesus meeting with the kids, and we all were focused on bringing daddy home. And I communicated that to them the best that their little minds could handle, right? And they helped. And, sometimes the oldest would pitch in, grab the baby while I was on a call or whatnot. But either way, all of us brought daddy home, not just me, because it was now a family mission. And they all decided that they didn't want to drop daddy off at the airport anymore to head to some foreign country with no toilet paper, that we were going to keep him home with us, where only he could fulfill the purpose of the daddy role that we needed, right? So lo and behold, 2018, in February of 2018, he was able to leave the oil industry for good. He came home to be in that role where he was irreplaceable. Honestly, On the jobs, he was just a number at the end of the day. He was just an employee. But at home, he was back to being the man that God called him to be. And that put us all at peace. So in 2018, I guess about 6 months after he came home, we decided to really stretch our wings with the freedom that we now had. We bought this crazy motor coach, took our kids out of school, introduced them to online school, and we've been traveling the country. It's been a crazy mess, but it's been amazing. My need for adventure is like completely fulfilled 100%. I would go anywhere with this man. And we've had an amazing time doing it. Our kids watch us pour into our coaches and build the same freedoms in their lives that we've created in our lives. And they see us put our heart into that. And then they see us turn it all off and play with them, right? We're both playful and present. We're able to laugh now. We once couldn't even laugh at our own house. You know, like there was just so much stress and so much weight of the industry, of everything. But now our kids are seeing two totally different parents, and they know that they earned that too. They had a part in that, and it's really, really cool to watch. So 2019, I know it sounds cheesy, but my word is impact, okay? The freedom that we have created in our world, I know is no longer for us. I know that God's letting us enjoy it. He let us bask in it, but it's time to give it away. So our mission is for those people that have entrusted us, and we are ready to just serve and help them, because what we have, it just blows my mind. Like hearing Donni share that presentation earlier, I was just so proud. I was so excited that we actually hold all of that in our hand and have the ability to give it to others. So that's what coaching has done for us and our family, and we just can't wait to share that.
Oh my goodness, Maria, you just defined mom boss right there. Thank you so much. That is a mom that is in charge of creating the life that she wants for her family. Okay. And that's what you did. You took the bull by the horns and you made it happen. And so what are some of the benefits of becoming a coach? You know, how has that helped you in terms of your own personal health journey?
Oh my goodness. Oh, I totally forgot about that part. So I've maintained 100-pound weight loss now. There's another coach I love. She says, you know, you can't drive your bus off a cliff if you've got passengers. And it's so true. I'll be honest. There's times where I've called some of my favorite clients and I'm not quite sure who's the coach and who's the client, because we just have that kind of relationship. I'm not perfect, but I know that I have a plan that I can always go back to, and a loving community that will always accept me as I am, and I can grow from any and all experiences. So it's been amazing, coach.
So not only does it help you in terms of your own personal health journey, but oh my goodness, the transformation that you've experienced in your desire to create and your desire to bring, you know, support your husband and to be available for your kids. And so thank you so much for sharing about some of the benefits that are available to those that are willing to share this. And what happens is, as you were talking about, what was it that you said? Somebody said it to me this way once, is that you get to keep what you give away, right? If you look at this program and you say, I would love to experience the physical benefits, that's wonderful. If you look at this graph, you're going to notice that you're going to change the trajectory of your life just by experiencing the program. But look at the difference for a coach, right? If you could experience it even better, then why not? And so next up, I would love to introduce you to Lesley Biggin. She is definitely one of the people that I admire most. 6 babies, guys, 6 babies. And so I can't wait for you guys to hear from this mom boss. Welcome, Lesley.
Hey, Donni, thank you. And I didn't think I would get emotional, but hearing my sister girl over there talking and watching their story unfold has been so amazing. And thank you. So I wish that we were having this conversation at my home with all 1,000+ of you, because I love a party, and my house is like a sorority house with all 6 girls around. There's always a spontaneous dance party. We have gymnastics equipment scattered around. And there's always like screaming from somewhere, happy screaming, unhappy, whatever. And there's always laughter. And so I wish you could come and see the shoes scattered all around and be part of my sorority house. And then we could share our hearts with each other. But we can't be. And I am so honored to be able to be part of this today. And, you know, when I started program 5 years ago, I I had 4 kids who were 6 and under, and my life was busy based on those kids. I was also super involved in our community, in our church. My husband and I ran a very quickly growing business out of New Orleans, and I was exhausted, like Miriam said. I needed a 2-hour nap every day in order to make it to the end of the day. And I felt a little discouraged in life. Like, I had dreams of impacting the world and influencing people. And I knew I was doing that and raising these sweet little girls, but I was having 6 and under conversation all day long. I was changing a heck of a lot of diapers. I was bathing kids, making dinner, changing diapers, bathing kids, making dinner, changing diapers, over and over and over. And so I just felt a little dissatisfied with life. And I felt a little ashamed to admit that I felt dissatisfied. And I had no energy. I was 45 pounds overweight, and I didn't know how I was going to lose it. I paid what I call $1 million to my trainer and never got results. And she introduced me to this program one day and said, we need to make one thing in your life a little more simple. We need to help you get victory in one area of your life, and that victory is going to lead to countless other victories. Just trust me. And so after doubting her for a week, I decided to trust her when I gained 2 pounds and said, all right, let's get started. And I've never looked back, y'all. I lost the 45 pounds, but that is so minor compared to the way my life has changed. I became this mom. Within 2 weeks, I remember running behind my 4-year-old daughter saying, pedal, 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 pedal. And I had the energy to train her to ride her bike on 2 wheels. And that felt miraculous to me. I called my coach. I said, there's magical powder on this food I'm eating, because suddenly I'm the mom that I always knew I could be. We're having spontaneous dance parties in the living room at night. When my husband walks in the door, I'm not like, here, baby, catch. Instead, I'm like, hey, baby. And that led to 2 other babies. But when you're feeling flirty and fun again, everyone started noticing that I was myself again. I was spontaneous. I was adventurous. I was instigating things. I was coming up with ideas for how we could have fun again. And I was myself. I found myself. And so everyone started asking, what the heck are you doing? Not only are you melting away, but you're you again. And at that point, look at that. Look at my little family. And we've had another since that middle picture. I realized that, that I couldn't not, that's a double negative. All of the English teachers just like shivered. I was compelled. I could not make another decision but to decide to coach, because my friends and family needed a victory so desperately. And so my reasons why I couldn't do it, I was too busy, too many kids, too many hobbies, too many things to do, became my reason why I had to do it. And it became my reason why. I wanted my daughters to see that I could be both an amazing mom, amazing wife, and change people's lives. I wanted the accountability. I was a recovering double-stuffed Oreo addict, and I knew that I needed accountability that coaching brings in order to stay on track, keep the weight off, and keep moving forward in life. I knew when I started coaching, I started growing as a person, and I realized I had grown bored in life, trapped in the mundane, and I needed coaching to inspire me to become the very best version of myself. And I needed the community. I needed people who were going to who were hungry and humble and smart and fun and living life to its fullest. And this community of coaches and clients has brought that to me. And one day I was having fun with it. It was a nice little hobby. And one night after tucking our kids in bed, I walked in my room and my husband was laying on the bed thinking he was having a heart attack. And we rushed him to the emergency room, and it turned out it was a panic attack. And I realized that my husband had this huge burden of providing for our family, a large growing family. And it was a huge burden on him. And I realized although we still love our other business, I loved what I was doing and was having fun and was passionate about it. And so at that point, this went from being a hobby to a true calling. And I started just living and becoming the best version of myself. So how does it work to coach? It's a relational model. It's focused on optimal well-being. We get to be self-employed, and yet we're independent. Like, we get to make our own hours, decide when and where we're going to work. We can work part-time, we can work full-time. It's $199. As an entrepreneur, I know how much we've spent starting up businesses. This is or $200. I underestimated by $1. The operating costs are super low. It's like a cell phone is all you kind of need, and no inventory is necessary. And the beautiful part is you can live an adventurous life like Maria was talking about and coach from anywhere in the world with that cell phone. There are no quotas, no pressure. It can just be about helping other people. And you are gonna have all the training and support you need in order to be successful at the level that you want to be successful. So you're going to have all of the support that you need. You'll have a business coach. You're going to have a mentorship team. We use an apprenticeship model, so you're learning just what you need to learn just in time when you need to learn it. And there are local, regional, and national events that are just outstanding and so much fun. So anyway, Donni, why don't you take back over?
Thank you. Oh my goodness, Lesley, that is awesome. Thank you for breaking that down. Not only, the transformation that happened in your own life, but how it all kind of comes together, how simple it is, the low startup and how much support we get, how you get to earn as you learn. This is the deal. We described today a little bit of the huge need there is for health in America and in the world. And the wellness industry is almost a $4 trillion industry. There is some room for all of us in this industry to make a difference, not only for others, but also for ourselves and for our families as we grow to whatever level that we want to grow. Tonight, we talked a little bit about how OPTAVIA helps you create the health that you want in your body, in your mind, and in your finances. I'd love for you to consider tonight where you are in each of these areas today and where it is that you would like to be in the next year, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. And explore whether this opportunity might be the vehicle to take you where it is that you want to be. We invite you to connect back with the person that invited you tonight to learn how you can create the life that you want, take on the reins as mom boss of your own life and your own family, and create life on your own terms. Thanks for joining us tonight.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.